Dragon Ball community, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Golden Frieza. That's coming out in set 27. I would say highly anticipated, but I think another yellow deck sort of outshined this deck a little bit in the reveals. But we'll talk about that here in the video. We have the next yellow deck, next Frieza deck to, grace our presence in our binders potentially. But this is yet another yellow Frieza leader and yet another golden Frieza leader. Is this a reboot from set 1? No. But this deck does has a very, very interesting mechanic that I think could make the deck pretty fun to play. I don't know how good it will be. It's very locked to the Frieza archetype. But let's see how the Frieza archetype actually ends up being. So we search top 5 when we attack. Add any yellow Frieza clan card to our hand, then shuffle, then activate main. We can take a life and then place a yellow Frieza clan from our deck into our drop. Awaken a 5, which we are a draw 2. And then on the side we are Shining Pride Golden Frieza, where we are a discard 1 yellow card and draw 2, and then place 1 yellow Frieza clan from your into the owner's drop from your board. And you get to play an 11 cost Frieza clan from your hand. Sounds crazy, because we actually, up until this point, I don't think we have any 11 cost cards. So these are the first 11 costs we're actually getting in the game. Before we go into that, we're going to talk about the Z Extra, which is kind of hard to read because of the gigantic sample text that's on the middle of this card. This is Wickedness Clan, the Wickedest Clan. So this is a very important card to how the deck functions. So when your yellow Frieza clan is removed from the battle area, place it to 1 yellow Frieza clan from your drop under this card. Activate main, place 3 cards under this card in the drop, and then choose up to 1 permanent skill other than the keyword skill on your 11 cost Frieza clans, and negate it for the turn. And then activate battle, remove this card from the game, reduce the combo cost of all of your yellow Frieza clans with energy that cost 11 in all areas by 1. Essentially making a lot of these cards free combos. Now you're going to see that these are actually 10k cards, so it's going to make a little sense, but this costs 1 yellow, and it's actually battle. So this is kind of how your deck, I want to say functions, but it's a big portion of how your deck is going to function. And then we have the Z Unison, which is probably just as important. This is a 2 cost Frost Nightmare Encounter. Activate main. For 0 energy, you place, if your leader's backside is this leader, you get to play up to 1 11 cost Frieza clan from your hand. And then activate main -1, switch up to 1 of your yellow Frieza clan that costs 11 to active mode. Alright, so the activate main on this is actually allowing you to free play these 11 costs. We're going to see how strong these 11 cost cards are. So the first one is going to be Metacooler Core, 25k Double Strike, Offering. And then permanent, this card can't attack, and this is going to be a consistent permanent on all of these 11 cost cards. When this card is played, choose one of your yellow unisons and add a marker to it. So essentially, play this on turn 2. You get to play this guy out for free. You then get to draw 2 cards, or your opponent can crit a life, and then you're going to add a marker to your unison, because your unison doesn't add markers to itself just by playing. So this is actually a good way of being able to get your markers on there. Then we have King Cold, Wickedest Clan. This is a 25k critical Aegis. When this card's played, you draw a card and then choose one of your opponent's battle cards and return it to the owner's hand. So this one you actually return to your opponent's hand and draw a card. Now you have Aegis. So if you have an extra one of these cards in your hand, you can discard it to then restand 2 energy on your turn. The third one, going to be Mecha Frieza. This is the successor card. If your leader is this leader, when this card's successor, you can draw 1. It's got blockers. This card can't attack. When this card's played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it, and then choose one of your opponent's unisons and remove 2 markers from it. So these are all different combination of cards you'll be playing. I don't know if you actually will play all 3 of them at one time. I think you'll probably side one of them, and honestly, I mean, Mecha Frieza is probably the weakest out of them, unless you're specifically in a matchup that's playing a unison, which then you would play it. Other than that, I think you're probably going to play the other 2 most of the time, but I could be wrong. And then we have the 1-drops. And I know my camera's going to kind of cut through the Frieza here, but you guys should probably know what the card does already, but I will read it, of course. These are both the Flaunting Powers. So these are both 1-drop battle cards. Both of them also have counterattacks, but they're also just cantrips. So the Frieza is a draw 1. The Metacooler searches out 5 for a yellow Frieza clan. Now this is kind of where they get weird. So both their green texts are very strange. So the Frieza Counterplay, when this card's played, additionally, if it's your opponent's turn, this card combo power becomes 530,000. And I will move my camera here just so you guys can read that. Right? That's crazy. It's a little homage to the Easter egg, I guess, from Dragon Ball Z, where he talks about his power level being 530,000 in base form. So it's just kind of a cool little thing. But that's crazy, right? You can play this in the counter step, draw a card, and then if you get the combo with this card that turn, you basically combo out of whatever it is, which is crazy. And then Metacooler can combo with up to 100 Metacooler cards from the drop area with their skills negated. Now, that seems pretty crazy, and obviously this is like support for Metacooler. But if you just have other copies of Metacooler cards that are like this in the drop area, you can then combo with them. In the if you guys are instantly thinking, well, the red yellow one you just showed, that's a Metacooler core, can't use it, so you don't get a free 10k combo. Then we're gonna move on to the one drops, as I would call them. So we have 15k chilled. Activate main for leaders yellow Frieza. You have 2 more energy, draw a card, and then place a Frieza clan from the drop underneath the field. Cards played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards or units and switch to the rest mode. I think this is probably the weakest of all of them. It's probably the one that you're probably not going to play the most. You might not even run it in your deck. This card's not very good. I would probably stay away from this card. Then we have the grotesque and uncontrollable transformations. Both of these are really good. So both of these cost 1. Both of these cards will draw you a card when played. Uncontrollable transformation, the 5 cost, can be played on turn 2, while grotesque transformation can be played on turn 3. They both put a Frieza claim from the drop underneath the Wickedness battle area. In your battle area, the 5 drop will KO a battle card in rest mode. The 6 drop will choose a battle card, switch to the rest mode, and then negate its skills. He also has a 25k crit. The other one's just a 20k base that also draws you a card and then kills something in rest mode. So both, I mean, they're two good effects. For 1 energy, there's no real argument there. Those are good. And then we have Cooler Transformation Apex. This is my favorite one out of all of them. So on turn 3, you can play it the same effect as the other ones, where it puts a Frieza clan underneath the Z extra. But use 20k dual attack blocker. When this card attacks or activates blocker, you may use a Frieza clan card from your hand in a combo with its skills negated. A Frieza clan, a yellow Frieza clan, and then draw a card. So this is any Frieza clan that is yellow. So you can play any of them. And then, I mean, you can combo with any of them and then draw a card. That's really, really good. And this is not once per turn. So if you can attack with them, do the draw, you can restand them, attack with them again, combo a card, draw a card, or you can just keep them in active mode and then use them as a blocker. This is a very, very good archetype card. Then we get the SR, Fearsome Transformation. Play him for 1, same effect as the other ones. When he attacks, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, switch to the rest mode. Additionally, if that card is chosen as a Saiyan card, you KO it and switch this card to active mode. So it doesn't have to be. So if we go by rulings of past yellow cards that have a similar effect, you can choose a card that's already in rest mode, and then if that card is a Saiyan, you can KO it every stand. You don't have to switch a card to rest mode, so you can just choose a Saiyan that's already in rest mode. But the activate main is not once per turn, so you can play multiple of these 25k bodies. The auto, though, is limit 1, so you can't do that multiple effects every single time. So you get the auto once, and then you're done. And then there was another SR that was announced, but it's not for this deck, so we're not going to talk about it. But then you have Golden Frieza, Revenge Transformation. This is a 10 drop. If your leader is yellow and you have 4 more energy, play this card from your hand. 30k Double Strike, KOs the entire board in rest mode. And you need to play a 1-drop Frieza clan from your drop with its skills, which is very good. So this is a 2-drop that can board wipe, and then play out a 1-drop. This is good for this deck. This is good for the swap Frieza. This is a very, very good support card for this, for just the Frieza archetypes in general, because it's just a yellow Frieza card. So this is just good generic support, and this is this is a common. So like this isn't a rare. Like this isn't going to be an SR. It just is just good support. Then we get a secret rare, which is Frieza Eternal Enemy. This is a black-yellow card, which is only like the maybe 4th or 5th black-yellow card we have in the game. But for 2 energy, if your leader is yellow or a Frieza clan, It's 2 colorless energy. They did this. You can play this in Golden Cooler, which is interesting to play. Ultimate double strike. Auto is X. When this card is played, choose up to X of your opponent's battle cards, and X is the amount of energy that you can actually tap for this. Ignoring barrier and send them to the owner's warp. Then, until the end of your opponent's turn, whenever your opponent plays a battle, when your opponent plays cards, they must be played in rest mode. So you can only play. You can play unisons. You can play battle cards. I don't think you play field spells. I think you activate field spells. So I don't think that matters. But this is basically a floodgate, right? So if your opponent has 3 battle cards on board, on turn 5, you can basically tap 2 energy to play it, tap 3 energy, warp those 3 cards, battle cards, and then floodgate your opponent for the next turn. If their board's tapped, right? So like, that's really cool. This is arguably now the best yellow secret rare, like just generic secret rare for yellow. It gives yellow something that yellow's never really had, which is barrier removal and a floodgate. So it's really hard for this to say isn't the best. I think this is really close with Purunga, and I think you can make an argument this is now the best one. Some people will probably disagree with that, but the important thing here is that this does give yellow something it's never had, which is just multiple barrier removal, and also allows you to still have a floodgate, like without having to like worry about keeping energy up. So I think it's really good. We're definitely gonna kind of mess around with this card in the Frieza deck, of course. So now we're gonna go into the deck portion of the video and see what we can come up with. So we're gonna start with the I think just like the archetype cards, right? Makes the most sense. So we'll just pull up the set and just grab all of the archetype cards that I think would be useful. So some of these I didn't talk about because this isn't for this deck. Again, you'll see another card in here that I did not talk about. But this we're not going to include in the deck. We're going to include the 8-drop. We're going to include the 1-drop. We're going to include the Frieza. We're going to include the Cooler. And this guy, and this guy, and this guy. I think that's all of the yellow cards from the set. This isn't, we'll talk about this in the Broly video, but this is a card you can essentially run in any of these decks. But I don't think it's for this deck. And then we're gonna grab the big guy, Secret Rare, right? And then we're gonna grab. I'm gonna talk about all 3 of the battle cards here, and then this is the other guy. We're not gonna talk about him because it's not really for this deck, but he's another successor target now. Okay, so these are all of the cards from the actual set. Let's kind of get them a little organized here a little bit. And so we'll talk about the big guys here first, right? So the big guys are all very good. I think this is probably a side deck card. Now it does have blocker, which in some matchups does matter because you can still use this guy as a blocker. So there are times where I think this card might be relevant. So we're gonna keep 1 in the deck, and then I'm gonna run. I'm going to run 4 of this guy. I think this is the best one. Essentially, is a draw 2 that's also going to plus your unison. It's hard to argue. And actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bump this up to 2. And then we're going to run 3 of the King Cold. Now, King Cold is... there's going to be another reason why I'm thinking about this in the deck. But King Cold is another one that I think is... He's okay if you'll probably only ever establish him once, and then just pitch the other ones away for the Aegis effect. But actually, now that I'm thinking about this, I don't know if we actually want. Do we want to run any other blue-yellow cards? I don't think there's anything else that's like. Good for us, like it's a cool card, but maybe we maybe we just don't run this. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I might have just completely switched my mindset here. As I'm thinking about it, I'm like, maybe we don't run it. Right? I think this would actually have a potential to play from our hand, because we do play 6 and 5s, so there's a chance we could play this guy. So we'll hold on to it now for right now. Of course, secret rare. We'll probably include this guy as a 4-of for now, just because he's 5k combo, so like that's always good. And then these guys are gonna be 4-ofs. Pretty simple there. So I don't know what I'm gonna run ratio wise of these guys yet. So let's try to fit the deck with some more support cards. So obviously I think the easiest one that comes to bat is gonna be Mecha Frieza, right? Like Mecha Frieza being being a Frieza clan, meaning he's searchable. This is a searchable floodgate, right? This card's kind of fallen by the wayside because of its just inaptability of just like getting hit by every single counterplay, most of the counterplays I should say, but it's still really good. And in this deck, it's searchable, and we can use it to we can use our leader effect to pop this in our battle area and then play out an 11 cost. Like it's got some pretty nice tools around it, so we're gonna utilize this guy. And that also makes me want to play Bardock as well, just because it's another really hard floodgate. I don't think there's a world where you don't play Heritage of the Legend, right? It's just another floodgate. You could potentially take him out if you want to put in there's not another like battle card in Mecha Frieza floodgate other than like Metacooler, but it's not that great. So Bardock's gonna fit. I will say, I'm trying to think of other negates here. Maybe Steadfast. Steadfast might not be bad, right? We're gonna put a lot of Z energy. So like Bardock's gonna be online, and then because we do play on an extra card, and we're yellow deck, we're gonna fit some more extra cards in the deck. This effect will also be able to just come into play. So, and I'm thinking of just other 3 costs. So like for like 6, you can do like what 6, 3. That's 9. And then like 10, 11. You can do 6 and 5. You can do 2 3s and a 5. Like you have some different ways of being able to get to the 11. So I guess that does make a little more sense. Now, I think this could be a cool card to play. Is Clan of Terror, right? So this is a double striker. He's 20k. He's a 10k combo, which I'm thinking of something at the moment here. But you can play this guy actually off of Riposte, and I don't think people really experimented with this too much. But he also is a Frieza clan, so we can also put him into the drop area. It just gives us more targets for our our leader effects. But you can evolve on top of this guy for 2. Play this guy, and this guy looks at your opponent's hand and plays any battle card in rest mode, so you can just play something that they might want to use, and now you have to worry about it. But like this is, I think, something that's going to be really helpful for this next card we're going to talk about, which I think this might be the best deck for this card. And we can find it first. If I can't find it on this page, I'm just gonna. There it is. Mercenary Tau. The promo from last set. Oh, man. Okay, so activate battle. If your leader's yellow, you have 2 more energy. You use 1 card with an original combo cost of 1 from your hand with the skills negated. Draw a card. Play this card from your hand. This card gains barrier. And then activate battle. If this card is in a battle, choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards that is in battle, ignoring barrier, and KO it. So this card, you can either block or attack into a card to then KO that card, even if it has barrier. But also, this card allows you to combo the dead stuff from your hand. So, you can combo this from your hand. You can also combo these guys from your hand. And that's really cool. That allows you to sort of circumvent, having a lot of these dead 10Ks in your hand, because you can just use this card and combo with them for free. Right? Nothing on here that says the cost. It just says an original combo cost, so it can be any card. Doesn't have to be yellow either, which is, I think, really good. So actually, because of that, we're going to bump this guy up to 2. I think it's probably good. Well, let me think of extra cards. Of course, like Bloodlust, that comes to mind. Frieza Army might be a card. I think this card can make a little bit of a comeback, maybe, for yellow. It's not awful. Nimbus, of course. Cold Bloodlust, of course. So one of, and I think that's probably it. Yeah, I don't think we need a ton. Does the swap card work? Does this work? Okay, so the bottom effect does not. But the top effect, we can use it to grab a Frieza with swap, which we don't actually play any of the Friezas with swap. So, probably not a good card. This is probably what we'll play, though. I mean, probably like a 2-2 split if you want another extra card. Is there anything else that actually like makes sense to play? You probably could side stuff. Just none of these other cards like really make sense. Maybe a Final Flash. Yeah, Final Flash is not bad to have one of. So it gives us a decent amount of extra cards. That's Secret Rare. I think I got everything. What are we missing? Super combos? Missing super combos. Let's go Hercule. Let's just play Hercule. You're gonna build a lot of Z energy, so I think that's good. And then this guy combos a yellow Frieza clan. Yeah, so we just combo this card. Oh my god, that's so good. Yeah, it's really, really good. Okay, so these guys, I'm gonna definitely play. I think you play 4 of this guy because he's like one of your better turn 2 battle card plays. This one is not as good, but it's still like a crit body, so like there's nothing wrong with playing this guy. This guy's a 4 of, I feel like. He's really, I think this guy's one of the better ones. I think these 2 are like the best 2. And then this guy is probably a 3 of. So we're at 58, which is a little too many. So let's dial this back to 3. We can probably just cut Steadfast. I just put Steadfast on the side. It puts it down to 55, which I think is probably okay. You're gonna draw a lot. So maybe like 3 of this. I think I'm just thinking because it's a 10K. Yeah. And then let's do the Z deck. I don't think there's a lot of like interesting stuff you can do with the side deck. I mean the Z deck, unfortunately. Just because yellow's really like they're kind of limited in what they have. Nope, can't do anything with that. This is a cool card you can play. It's a dual attack barrier card. It actually is a little bit better than like this is obviously like good because it's gonna KO something. But I don't think you really need to go into the Z deck that much as a yellow deck. We do play a Unison, but we're never gonna get the Empower effect because the RZ Unison is never gonna hit the grave. Oolong. We are gonna put this broken card in the Z deck, and you guys will notice why when we talk about the Broly stuff tomorrow. But this card's really, really ridiculous. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna put it in there. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Fall Defender, no. Is Togema getting any effects? This allows us to add a 1-drop back. But for 3 Z energy? Yeah. It's not worth it. So Scheme Wish, we'll put it in there. I think that's not an awful, like, you can use it to gain control of some of your opponent's cards. This guy, one evolved defender. Yeah, you're so limited on what you can play in yellow, man. Oh, actually, this guy, Finishing Blow. This is actually a good card. So let's take this guy out. Let's do. We got two. Yeah, so we have two of the Wickedest clan. Probably just one Wickedest clan. We have Frost. We have one of the Mighty Blast. It's just a backup. And we have one Scheme with backup. So this card, you can choose one of your battle cards 3 cost or less. Negate the skills of it, and then gain control. Give it to your opponent, and then gain control of one of your opponent's cards. So you do play Mecha Frieza. You play these 1-drops. You play Tau. You play like you can like Mecha like between this, and this. You can use this guy to basically take control of one of your opponent's cards. We have the Cell here, which I think is a very good Z card to play. This card attacks. This part won't matter, but he's deflect, barrier, dual attack, blocker. One Oolong can copy any card in the game. One Gamma can be used as a way of just drawing a card off your opponent, activating a counter. Finishing Blow is kind of cool because he allows you to, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in rest mode when he's played, he gets crit and barrier. And then when he attacks, he gains 5k and KOs a card in rest mode. So you actually can kind of use him to sort of clear boards. And I will put the one of the stupid Broly card. So we're gonna talk about this more tomorrow, or in the next video. But this card here is really broken. So I don't know what Bandai was thinking about adding this card to the game, but yeah, it's not. So we'll talk about it in the Broly video. But this is the list. I said this was just obviously I built it right here in front of you guys. So very quick deck profile here. But I think this again, I think the concept of like all of the archetype cards are actually really good, except for Chilled. Like all of these are just really solid. Like this guy's solid. All these are good. So like standard yellow SRs. If you think about it, a lot of the yellow SRs are sort of good, I guess. So like, okay, so like one, I'm trying to think of like just like good generic SRs for so we'll put this at the bottom here. I feel like this is important. I should probably talk about these in these videos for people who may not be up with like just good yellow stuff. So like you have cards like Vegito you can play. You have your secret rare is probably going to be the Frieza, but you have Piccolo Gohan you can play. This card actually is something I thought about while I was sitting here. I'm like, wow, you can play this guy and stop your opponent from activating cards. It's just 3 energy, and that's not really great to spend. You can't play this. Look at a lot of these other cards. A lot of these cards are just kind of not really for the deck. Like you can't play this. A lot of the stuff is going to be kind of leader locked or just not very good. Now, one thing you can do, and I'm going to talk about this, is you can do, and I think this is one of the most I don't think it was necessary for Bandai to print this as a generic card. So if you have a yellow Unison in play, you can play this guy for 1, and then play this guy. You can play him for 1, and thank God he's not a Frieza clan, right? But you can play him for 1. He taps a card in the battle step or in the main step. He's a dual attacker blocker, but then you can evolve on top of him for 1 with Nova, and then Nova draws 2 cards. He restands. Does he restand? No, he doesn't restand. If when he swings, he'll KO a card. If he KOs a card in rest mode, he restands. Right, like this is just really interesting support that's for any yellow deck, and I think people should start looking at that for when they're playing yellow decks. I think this is a really good way for yellow decks to just kind of, you just add these into the deck, and you're gonna have a really strong, this card is just really good. Like just holding an energy up for this and playing it. And then if the card doesn't get removed, now you have a 20k swing, and then turns into 2 30k swings for another energy, right? That's just solid. So you have those. Let's go to 7 cost real quick. Frieza Emperor. No. They did not... Wait, this guy's not U7, right? Oh, thank God. Whew. Thank God. Cards on that main deck card anymore. Nothing really good. In the 7 cost, 6 cost, you can play the Cell. It's meh. It's kind of mid. You can always play like, you know, Multiple Awakening as like a 1-drop. A lot of people won't have enough Z energy to like facilitate multiple swings, but you might be able to at least get a swing out of it, and then the KO. So there's that. 5 costs. Nothing really comes to mind. Everything's kind of leader locked, like I said. Like this is a swap target you can technically grab. It's a Frieza clan. Yeah, you could play it, but yeah, I don't know. Probably maybe a side deck thing. And then everything else is just, like I said, I think the biggest one is Nova combination there, but there's a few. So this is the list that we're gonna stay with. That's what we'll that's what we'll make the video with. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If guys come up with anything that's pretty interesting with this deck, let me know. I don't think anything I did was really crazy, other than maybe like, I don't think people are gonna look at this card at all, and then they might not look at Tau, but they should, because this is really good. This gives you basically, you could turn any of these guys into free combos, and then the cooler does the same thing, which is like chef's kiss, right? So that will do it for me in the video today, guys. Hope you guys do like the content. If you guys do, like and subscribe. I'm gonna keep going until the set's over with, and then probably gonna go just heavy on Marvel Rivals content until new set comes out, and get something else I can make with Masters content. So thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video.